All right, first and fucking foremost, I just finished season 2 of Making a Murderer and I'm losing my fucking mind. Don't even get me started. I don't know where to fucking begin. But spoiler alert, guys, because if you haven't watched this season yet, I'm about to ruin everything for you. We're gonna break it down to at least a couple of questions that are still unanswered to me. We're gonna talk about a couple of things that are driving me fucking crazy because I couldn't even fucking sleep last night. I swear, I could sleep, but every time I would wake up to pee or to move my pillow or to adjust my fucking fan because it's so hot at nighttime, they got the heater turned way up in this fucking building. Every time I would wake up, I would legit think about people in Manitowoc County who can't sleep either because of this fucking bullshit. You got a family relative, you got a son, you got an uncle locked away for something he didn't fucking do. And then you have young Brendan Dassey, I'm talking about Stephen Avery, by the way, unless you've been living under a fucking rock. Then you got Brendan Dassey, who, this false confession, how many times do you have to beat judges in the 7th Circuit Court, the Appellate Court, the Supreme Court was fucking denied. Again, none of this makes sense to me, how an intelligent case can be presented to intelligent people and they still turn it down. These are all red flags. The bottom line is, make a phone call right now to any bar in Manitowoc County. Make a phone call and ask who picks up the phone. I've done it 3 times now. Ask whoever picks up the phone if you can go in there and talk to them or one of their employees about Making a Murderer season 2. And do you know what they're gonna say to you? No. They're gonna tell you no. They're gonna tell you that it's a one-sided documentary. They're gonna tell you that they believe the cops, that the cops aren't crooked. And they're gonna say, oh yeah, Stephen did that. Well, I'm telling you right now, anybody that you call in Manitowoc County, except for a few people, they're gonna feel that way because that's how they fucking feel. So when you get toward the end of the season, Barb, Stephen's sister, legit threatens to kill herself. All right, this is fucking telling, guys. Scott and Bobby, all these fucking years, they thought they got away with this shit. They thought they fucking got away with this. Now, Barb, this is a lot on her because deep down, she has to fight these feelings of, my husband killed this woman and my son played a role in killing this woman. And as a result of their actions, my brother and my other son are in fucking jail for who knows how many more goddamn years. So this is a lot of pressure. However, deep down, Barb knows she's sleeping with the enemy. Now, the Reddit theory from way back when says that Scott and Bobby did this, that Brendan and Stephen are innocent of this crime. Now, my whole thing is, let's pretend that Kathleen really breaks down the case and Stephen's case collapses and Brendan's case is still going through appeals. I love his lawyers, but it's like that girl, Laura, she kind of fucking slipped up in that meeting. And Kathleen said, you have to know this case inside out. You can't leave any stone unturned. You can't leave any question unanswered. You have to hit that judge back with whatever they throw at you. You have to fucking throw it back with a solid answer. And she was fucking up. So I feel bad that Brendan is having this shit happen. But if Stephen's case is proven to be fucked up and framed and evidence planted and his case collapses, that's gotta be able to help Brendan's case. Because the only evidence working against Brendan is the fact that he and Stephen did it. So if Stephen didn't do it, Brendan couldn't have done it. He didn't say he did it alone. Don't even fucking get me started. Who won't speak to Kathleen Zellner? Right? We got Ryan, the ex-boyfriend. He won't speak to Kathleen. None of Teresa Halbach's family will speak to Kathleen and they won't participate in the documentary. Don't they want to know what happened to Teresa? Because at the end of the fucking day, that's who this is about. It's really about getting justice for her and getting innocent people out of fucking jail. This drives me fucking crazy. Ryan, Teresa's ex-boyfriend, won't talk to Kathleen. You know why? Because he stole her planner, as she points out in season 2, and he moved the fucking car as per the cops' instructions. Now let me take a step back. Not all cops are good cops. Not all cops are crooked cops. Some cops are wonderful. Some cops are fucking crooked. When you have a lawsuit looming over an entire town for $36 million, you bet your bottom fucking dollar you're gonna do anything you can to somehow pin it on the motherfucker that's got that lawsuit going. And that's exactly what they did. We knew it. Kathleen just had to spell it out for everybody. So Ken Kratz, you better fucking watch it. Bobby Dassey, whether he killed Teresa or not, whatever role he played in potentially raping her, getting her for Scott, I don't know the specifics. There's no way to know unless somebody confesses. This has got to be eating away at everyone who was involved. Ryan, Teresa's ex-boyfriend. Scott, Teresa's roommate. Andrew Colborn, the fucking police officer who lied about more than one thing, including getting the phone call from back in the day that would have first helped release Stephen from his original rape conviction, which was overturned. So this guy, Andrew, how do you sleep at night? Then you have Scott and Bobby, who even though they're free, Brendan's still in jail. Stephen's still in jail. So this eats away at you day in, day out. Because again, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to hide. So you could tell Stephen, hey Stephen, I didn't do it. But if your lawyer has to point the evidence at me, it has to, go somewhere, that's fine, but I didn't do it. I know I have nothing to hide. Although in Manitowoc County, one thing that the cops do have a thematic thread with is putting people behind bars when they didn't fucking do anything. The next item I wanted to talk about on here is the images on Bobby Dassey's computer, between the rape images, the females drowning images, the heterosexual porn, the homosexual porn. Everything points to this being a sick, twisted, deviant, messed up person. Now, I'm not saying that nobody should watch porn. I would never say that. But when you watch videos of people being tortured and killed, and then in your backyard, someone is tortured and killed, and you and your stepfather are the only two people to provide alibis for each other, then the bones are found over here and they're planted over here, and then Scott's getting really angry that it's all, the tunnel's closing in on him. Come on now. You don't have to be Kathleen Zellner to figure this out. Except you fucking do. So don't even get me started. Why is Scott so angry? To quote Scott Taddick, he says, I wasn't even on the property. Then you have nothing to worry about, buddy. If you were visiting your mom in the hospital, they're gonna have a record of that. She can be your alibi. If Barb saw you when you got home after 5 p.m., the damage was already done. And if Bobby checked your alibi out at around the time that Teresa goes missing, well, then all arrows are pointing at you, so knock it off. This is gonna suck. If Bobby and Scott did this, it sucks. But at the same time, we still have the cops messing with everything. So as Kathleen describes, and let me also say this is not my theory. This is all Kathleen's theory. This is the person on Reddit's theory. This is supported by factual evidence. Watch season 2. This is not my theory, but I believe this theory. So if they sprinkled the bones and then they figured out that somebody was moving the car, it just was like the perfect storm to frame Stephen fucking Avery. So aside from knowing everything that we know, Bobby then commits perjury, present day, by telling his mother a different story than he told the cops back then, which ultimately played a role in putting Stephen behind bars. Guess what, guys? You can't do it. You can't do that. It's not allowed. It's illegal. It's called perjury for a fucking reason. By the way, when I did jury duty, they ask you, when somebody raises their right hand and swears under oath, do you, as potential jurors, believe that every word that comes out of their mouth is going to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help them God? You know what my fucking answer was inside? No fucking way. And there was another juror who told us all that she doesn't trust her husband and she doesn't trust any men. So if any men get up on the stand, they're automatically guilty. All right, so here's what I'm saying with that. People lie. They lie all the fucking time, especially if they do tell the truth, they might end up behind bars. I guess what it also comes down to is why would Scott and Bobby move the car unless they really, really wanted to get Steven? I don't know the timing, the exact timing of when Ryan moved the car, obviously busted the brake light out or the parking light, whichever light. I don't have a license, so I don't drive. And then when he took her planner, which Kathleen also has evidence on, because even though she printed out her planner, she still wrote in notes, which couldn't have been figured out until that day, because those appointments were made that day. And she didn't have time to go home and drop her planner off. So Ryan, they've got it figured out. And you know what, guys? Big picture. Imagine I'm Ryan, sitting at home, Teresa's ex-boyfriend, watching season 2, and I'm seeing that Kathleen has it all figured the fuck out. Somebody's gonna crack, guys. Somebody has to crack. So if I try to put myself in the shoes of Bobby Dassey and Scott Taddick, and I think, all right, this guy, Stephen Avery's got a $36 million lawsuit coming to him. He's gonna be able to pay for a defense in this because he didn't do it. They'll never figure out that we did it, but they didn't know that the cops were gonna plant all that fucking blood in the car and all of Steven's DNA all over everything. So the cops, in a way, interfered with Scott and Bobby's plan if Scott and Bobby didn't really want Steven to take the fall for this. But why would they do it, guys? I can't get into their heads and figure out why they would do it. Did they see her as an easy target because she happened to be a female who was there that day and they knew they could try to pin it on Steven? I mean, obviously people commit rape and murder crimes. I don't want to say all the time, I don't know the statistics on it, but that's what somebody did. And they wanted to pin it on an innocent person. And at the end of the fucking day, this is karma being a real bitch, waiting all this time to come back and bite you in the ass. I don't have time right now to outline the pelvic bones and the cuts on the bones. You have to watch this. Or there's another theory that it's not even Teresa's body that's in there, that it's somebody else's or it's somebody else's bones. I don't know if I believe all that. But at the end of the day, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to hide. But if you're guilty, you're guilty, you're fucking guilty. Don't even get me started with Ken Kratz, because I fucking swear he's gonna get what he has coming to him. He's going to CrimeCon, he's writing books, signing books, sexting after he had to resign. Again, call up a bar in Manitowoc County and ask the person who picks up the phone if you can go in there and speak to someone about season 2 of Making a Murderer. Oh, you can't? No, we're not talking about that. We know Steven's guilty. Can you imagine that all of your friends, neighbors, people in your county all think you're guilty, mainly because they have to believe everything the cops said? If we believed everything the cops said and everything all these priests said, what kind of a world would we be fucking living in? All right, guys, I'm gonna keep you posted on more. I wanted to do another Making a Murderer video, but I just haven't had enough topics to talk about. I know the buildup for this season has been a lot. I know it's hard. DM me, find me on the social medias if you want to talk about it. I know I mentioned I talk to Chuck pretty often. I sent him a Netflix gift card because he didn't even have Netflix to watch this season. I also wanted him to watch The Staircase. Some people think it's a little weird to contact them. I don't think it's weird. I feel like I had to make the phone call because I wanted to do something more as a viewer than just sit here and be angry with the fucking cops in a state that I've never even been to and a county that I'm probably never gonna go to, especially now. Thank you guys for watching. Much appreciated it. Treat yourself, enjoy yourself, and I'll see you soon.